So I've got an interesting one for you today. What do you get when you cross the affordability of a cheap keyboard with the features of an expensive keyboard? Well, you get this. This is the Corsair K55 keyboard from, well, Corsair. And also you get a really good mouse alongside it. Kia ora Tefana, I'm Geo and welcome into another episode of Geos-Tech, where I try and give you a little peek behind the curtain at some of the gear and the gadgets and the bits and pieces going on behind the scenes that you might not otherwise see. I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who's supported the channel so far. It's awesome to get the support, and it's also awesome to just see that I can actually provide a little bit of help in these sort of things, right? Provide a little review of the things that I've actually got, and maybe it can help you either spend money on something worthwhile or not spend your hard-earned money on something that's not worthwhile. Any way that I can help you, that's all I'm here for, right? Let's get into it. This is my keyboard and mouse. This is a K55 from Corsair with the Harpoon mouse. They're both wired. I got the keyboard and mouse as a bundle here from a company called First Wave. They're really awesome. Been getting a few of my bits and pieces through them recently. They're really great. Now this bundle together comes at about 125 to 150 New Zealand dollars. I think I got mine for around 130 at the time that I bought it, which puts it in that sort of cheaper price bracket, at least here in New Zealand anyway. Let's start with the keyboard for now, because I imagine that's where most of the interest really is. The mouse is good, but let's start with the keyboard. The keyboard's a bit of an oddity really, because it has the feel of a mechanical keyboard with membrane switches. So it's not hot swappable, but I mean, that's where the price comes in, right? It's cheaper, but it still feels mechanical, which is quite nice. It doesn't obviously have the exact same feel as a mechanical keyboard, and up until recently I've been fine with that, but I think moving forward, I might have to look at getting a proper mechanical keyboard. So if you guys have any recommendations, that'd be amazing. Look, something decent for a decent price is what I'm looking for. Now listen to this. Now I'm guessing the more keen-eared of you would probably recognize that this isn't a purely mechanical keyboard. However, I would say that there's probably a few people out there that wouldn't have guessed that this isn't actually mechanical. As you can see, it's a full-size keyboard with number pad, media controls, F row, and it's even got the G keys down the side, and we'll go over those in a bit. Up in the top right corner, you've got your standard media keys, mute, volume up and down, stop, play. As well, up in the top right, you've got your macro record, you've got your control for lighting, and you've also got your Windows key lock, which is actually kind of a handy feature. So you can lock the Windows key so you don't accidentally hit it and like jump out of your window while you're in the middle of a game, right? Like I mentioned, you do have an RGB key up in the top here. It's also compatible, obviously, with Corsair's IQ software, which is fairly easy to use. I've been using it for a while. I've kind of gone off it a little bit and started using Signal RGB, but it works with Signal RGB as well, so that's kind of good. I haven't tested it on any of the other MSI or ASRock or whatever RGB controllers are out there, or RGB software at least, sorry. However, I would imagine that it probably works there as well. Let me know down in the comments if you've actually used it with any of the other ones. It's not the RGB that was a big selling point for me on this keyboard. Now, back when I was first starting out with content creation streaming, I obviously didn't have money for a stream deck, so that was completely out of the question. However, a big selling point of this keyboard was the G keys down the side, because you see, since it's made by Corsair, and Corsair own Elgato, these G keys are actually compatible with the Elgato Stream Deck software. So you can download the Stream Deck software and use these as Stream Deck keys, just without the pictures. Although I guess you could put little pictures on them or little notes for yourself next to them so you know which one of them is connected to what. So when I found out about that, the G keys are actually compatible with the Stream Deck software, I was like, well, I can buy a keyboard, which I was looking for at the time, plus a mouse, which is awesome as well. And I get 6 keys on the side, which are compatible with Elgato Stream Deck software. So I basically have a 6-key Stream Deck on my keyboard, and I don't have to pay any more for it. I was pretty sold at that point. Onto the Harpoon mouse as well. I really like this. It's got really nice ergonomics. My hands are pretty large, so I need a mouse that feels comfortable, right? The Harpoon has been perfect for that. It is wired. Obviously, I should have mentioned that at the top. They're both wired, but obviously, I believe you can get wireless versions for more money. Obviously, that's the way things work. It has 2 extra keys on the side of the mouse, which are obviously set to forward and back, which have actually become a detriment and a blessing, I think. And a blessing because I use them all the time at home, which is perfect. It's where I do a lot of this stuff, obviously. But also, I go to work and then I'm like, oh no, I don't have a mouse with my forward and back buttons on. I have to go physically to the back arrow on the web page or on the Windows Explorer icon. It's just annoying. The scroll wheel isn't a free scroll wheel. It is just a normal clickety gradational, right? It's got the little bumps that you can click through them. Now the button on top controls the DPI settings, and for that you have a range of between 200 and 12,000. Yeah, you got a range of between 200 and 12,000 DPI with steps every, I believe, 100 DPI. So it's very, very customizable, tweakable. You know what I mean. The other handy thing about that is that when you scroll through the different DPI settings, that it comes with some pre-programmed, obviously. So it comes with the pre-programmed DPI settings, which you can scroll through with the button as well, and it actually gives you a visual indication of which one you're at. You just have to remember which one it corresponds to, which you can find out by going into IQ again. And so yeah, as you push the button on the top, it scrolls through different colors which correlate to your different DPI settings. I usually keep it on the green one, which I think is around 6,000, right in the middle. I honestly really love the feel of the keys on the keyboard. While it's not obviously a full mechanical one, which, like I said, I really would quite like now, it still feels really nice to type on, a lot better than the old keyboard that I used to have, which was an old Logitech one, which you might have seen in other videos. You know, just one of the standard Bluetooth ones. It comes with a nice wrist rest as well. One thing I do find about the wrist rest is that it gets a bit, not spiky, but like a bit annoying from time to time. If you rest your, once you rest your hands on it for a while, it gets a little bit fatiguing. Having a wrist rest at all is nice. So I kind of overlook it, I think, a lot of the time. As far as the RGB zones go on the keyboard, you've got three, one under sort of the left-hand side of the main section of letters, one under the right, and then one under the keypad. They're not individually not dimming zones, but are they like lighting zones, I guess? So not each key isn't individually lit, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Which, I mean, for me, the RGB wasn't a massive draw card for this anyway. It was more the price and the performance with the G keys, and the fact that it came with a mouse. And they've both been absolutely excellent. So that's kind of it, really. It's a fairly short one, just to tell you a bit about the keyboard that I'm using and how much I really enjoy it, even though it is sort of a hybrid, a mechanical and membrane keyboard. So it's not the ideal one. I would like a mechanical one, and if you do, like I said, have any recommendations for mechanical keyboards at a reasonable price, then I would love to hear them. I know there's plenty out there. I just don't know which ones are going to be the best or which ones are going to be the most reliable, I guess. One little thing I will say against the keyboard is that my spacebar key and my scroll wheel have got a bit squeaky over time, and maybe that's just me that I haven't treated them well. Or maybe I just need to oil them a little bit, put a bit of lubrication on them, and they'll probably come back to life. It was just something I thought I'd mention, just so that we have everything on the level and you don't think I'm just trying to talk you into buying Corsair products. I want to say that this isn't a sponsored video. It would be kind of cool to be sponsored, don't get me wrong, but this isn't. Just telling you what my thoughts are. Had this keyboard and mouse for around 2 years now, and I thought I'd provide a bit of information on how they perform, basically. So I'll leave you with that. Like I said, if you have any recommendations for new keyboards, mechanical ones particularly, then please let me know in the comments below. If not, and this helped you out with trying to decide what you might want to use, maybe you just like seeing keyboards, that's fine with me. All I can say is thank you for stopping by. K55, stay safe, be kind, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.